Hello, and I want to welcome everybody to another video here on my channel. I do apologize for the extensive leave of absence I've been taking since like November. It's been a while since I've come out with a video, so I do appreciate your patience. If you will, like this video, please, and subscribe to the channel. That really means a lot to me and allows me to improve technology, things like that. I just got a new microphone. I don't know if you can tell, so hopefully it works. Hopefully the audio is just fine. Hopefully we'll be able to continue improvement on that. So, with that in mind, I wanted to do some administrative things regarding my channel. I'm still using this channel almost a year since I started it up, and I'm thankful for that. So I'm going to hope to do at least once every 2 weeks videos-wise, and then Discourse of the Common Man I'd like to pick up as well. But I did want to express some interest in something I've thought about doing for my channel as well. We are church-wise in the season of Lent, and I'm looking for people that would be willing to do like a 15-minute or so just devotional. It can be whatever you would like to do, whether you be a pastor or someone my age or something like that. You are more than welcome. Just let me know either in the comments below or in the email, or just by personally messaging me. I will see it, I promise. So, with that in mind, I'd like to talk about something that has been crossing my mind recently, especially in the past couple months. One of the big things that I understand to be the issue in our current day and age is that people are unwilling to talk to each other. In other words, there is no unity because people don't listen. And this goes for both sides of the political aisle. Everyone's just trying to yell at each other. This is not good for political discourse. It's not good for discourse in general, whether it be anything. We're more divided now than ever as a country. Obviously, that's not a good thing. And a lot of people hopefully would agree to that sentiment, that it's not a good thing, and it's not a good thing at all. So, I believe that we have missed the concept of American unity. And that is what is founded in the Declaration of Independence and in the Constitution. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I think that people, and I tell people this all the time, the concept of American unity is that you don't have to agree on everything to be unified. Now, I know that sounds kind of contradicting. That's kind of a contradicting statement in and of itself. But the American idea is that you do not have to be thinking alike to be unified as a country. I'll give two examples of this, or one scenario in one example. Let's say a Christian and an atheist. We're going to go outside the political spectrum for right now. A Christian and an atheist are both Americans. And their debate goes to the core question of humanity in a lot of different ways. Is there someone above myself? Is there someone above the human race? Is there a higher power there? Is there a God? Is there the God? In particular with Christianity, in case, we believe that Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life, and, obviously the atheist would believe the total opposite of that. There is no God in any religion at all. But needless to say, so very differing spectrums. I'm finding a lot of, unity in that there's a lot of controversy in the church, and there's a lot of controversy in secularism. People are starting to object to a lot of the same things now. In those two spectrums, I'll give one example from each side. Most Christians agree that the abuse in the Catholic Church is terrible. And most people in both Christian and secular realms would agree that it's terrible. To say that it's not is to be living under a rock, is to be, secluded from society, or to have your morals totally screwed up to where you're not able to comprehend anything. And then on the other end of the spectrum, this is more of an educational thing, a lot of secularists are turning against Darwinian evolution because it just doesn't make sense. How everything forms from small goop, and then all of a sudden, boom, here we are, humans a billion years later. It doesn't make a lot of sense. And a lot of secularists agree with that, and obviously a lot of Christians believe that. So there's unity in disagreeing. I think that's a scenario, so to speak. And then an actual example, politically for our country. There is a conservative YouTuber, podcaster, social media presence. His name is Graham Allen. And he promotes this idea of 9/12. Now, of course, we know 9/11 was a terrible thing that occurred in our nation. He said, we don't want that to happen again. But 9/12 America was unified. It didn't matter what political party you stood on. You were unified in mourning, in prayer, in celebration for the people that walked out from those towers and from the Pentagon alive. Celebrating that moral victory and also mourning with those in utter loss and collapse. And Americans gave blood in droves all across the country. There are signs in churches in New York that are hung up from people in Oklahoma. Two very different states politically and geographically, to say, we're here for you guys. And that is a statement in and of it to itself that America can be unified. It shouldn't, though. It should not take a catastrophic event for us to unify. That should never happen. 9/11, again, should never happen again on American soil. Never. But we should strive for the September 12th kind of unity, if that makes sense. We should strive for not letting our political differences, our ideological differences get in the way of loving somebody and understanding that you can disagree with somebody and still be proud to be an American. I'm not going to go on and on into political tangents about which side is at fault. I've done that in previous videos. I've done attacks on both the left and the right. But here's the thing. If we are unwilling to unify as a nation, then we will eventually crumble. Most people, I'm sure, are familiar with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And a quote from Baron Zemo, or I guess it eventually becomes Baron Zemo. Helmut Zemo is his name. And in the movie, this is Captain America Civil War. And they're trying to fight over... Captain America has a team and Iron Man has a team, and they're fighting each other. The movie's been out for 4 years, so I don't care if I spoiled it for you. They're fighting each other over what's called the Sokovia Accords, which basically is the government keeping the Avengers accountable. Accountable, I say. I sided with Team Captain America on that, but I digress. So anyway, the quote was, I could not kill them. Far more powerful men than me have tried. But if I could rip them apart from the inside, that would secure victory. I'm kind of paraphrasing that last part. But if I could rip them apart from the inside. We're seeing that in the rest of the world. The people that would wish to do us harm don't have to do anything. All they have to do is stand back and not say anything at all. And that's what they have to do. That's all they have to do. They don't have to send anything over here. They don't have to send troops over here. They just have to watch and let us eat each other. That is something we need to avoid at any cost. I'm not going to praise one political ideology at the expense of another. That's not my point in this objective. What we need to strive for is unity in the fact that we are Americans. We have disagreed many a times. We've shed blood over disagreements, time and time again. In the 1860s, in the 1960s, during the Civil Rights Movement, during, we've had disagreements with other nations. We've had, presidents getting shot. We've had, all these sorts of things. We've had disagreements, but at its core, at the American core, we have to strive for unity. We have to strive for that American unity and common decency, for that matter. We don't have to disagree, but we can respect each other. That's, what that scene in Remember the Titans was all about. And regardless of whether it was about race, that is applied to everything. I don't care if you like each other or not, but you will respect each other. That quote from Remember the Titans, again, is a racially, contexted quote around the division zone, that football team between African American players and white players. But that can be applied to politics. Liberals and conservatives, Democrats, Republicans. You don't have to like each other. Respect each other as Americans. Respect each other as human beings. And that mutual respect will carry a lot farther than just screaming at each other and trying to bring each other down and trying to cancel each other and boycott each other, doing all these things. It's not worth it. It's not worth seeing the foundations of our nation fall. It's not worth it in the slightest. That importance of the American unity, not agreeing on everything, respecting one another, honoring what we say, honoring our stands as Americans. On the global scale, on the local scale, on the state scale, on the national scale. If we are not willing to respect each other as Americans, respect each other as humans, then we don't get any farther than the Avengers did. Right? United we stand, divided we fall. Again, I'm not praising a political party here. I'm not condemning another political party. I'm not saying who's doing what and all this sort of thing. That's pointless. That's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to say that unity as Americans is to disagree on some things, but to agree that we are all Americans. That we can look to that red, white, and blue in the sky and say to ourselves, this is my country. This is your country. This is her country. This is his country. This is our country. And I will fight to the death for your right to say what you have said. If we lose that, then we lose everything. So, how do we achieve this unity? It's really simple. It's a 4-letter word. Talk. Talk to each other. Don't shout at each other. Don't post 280 character sword slashes on Twitter. Don't post Snapchat stories or Instagram stories saying how bad one side is to the other. I don't care what political person you voted for in this past election. I don't care what side you voted for. I voted for a couple different things. I voted for Republicans and Libertarians. Some people voted for Democrats. Some people voted for Libertarians. Some people voted for straight Republicans. That's not the point. The question needs to be, why do you think that way? Not in a detoned or condescending manner. Not something that would, enforce, anger or frustration towards an individual, but rather say, why do you think that way? Why, how did you get to that point? From point A to point B. That would open up a lot more conversation within our civil and political discourse. And I think that is severely lacking in this country today. And that's the one issue we need to fix. If we can unite and just talk to each other again, and I know that COVID has made that difficult. I understand that. There are ways we can work around that. And hopefully we will start to work around that eventually. But the time is coming where we're going to have to decide. Are we going to just be subjective and keep a blind eye to everything that we don't agree with? Or are we just going to, or are we going to talk to people, engage in discussion, that sort of thing? If we're not willing to do that, then the downfall of our country is coming very fast. But we can either slow that down or prevent it altogether if we're willing to do the latter. So, I think that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Again, please be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. That means a lot to me. Hopefully I'll start putting some more stuff out in the future. I do plan to have a Discourse of the Common Man in March. I do not know who will be joining me on that. If you are willing to join, again, please personally contact me or through the email for this channel. Thank you so much, and we will see you all next time. God bless.